Hello and welcome to another edition of the COE Video Learning Series. My name is Dr. Dwight Pullen and I am the Assistant Vice President of Institutional Compliance. And I want to talk to you today about applying for institutional distance education. Let's talk about some learning objectives. Being an old teacher, I like to use learning objectives. So we want to be able to describe the types of distance education programs today. We want to be able to define the steps needed to get your distance education application approved and help you understand the timeline required for COE approval. Distance education is a method that uses instructional technology to deliver educational programs at a location where the student and the teacher are not together. And this can be done either synchronously or asynchronously. The types of distance ed programs approved by COE are hybrid programs and distance education programs. A hybrid program is a program where less than 100% of the instruction is delivered via distance ed, and the remaining instruction would be delivered traditionally. A distance education program is one that offers distance education as 100% of its mode of delivery. Now, campuses may offer traditional, hybrid, or distance education programs, and you may have the need to offer those programs in different modalities under different circumstances. So you could be approved to have hybrid, traditional, or distance programs. We do not approve instruction that's offered via correspondence education. We do not approve instruction offered on virtual campuses where the total campus is delivered via virtual education. And we do not approve programs where the credentials are above the applied associate degree. You must first have institutional distance ed approval before you can move forward with any additional programs offered via distance education. And this is going to require a minimum of 90 days from the time all materials are received. Let's talk about the steps towards getting approval for distance education. You're going to need to first make sure you've got all your campus activities in place. Make sure your learning platforms are there. Make sure that your teachers know how to use them. Make sure everything is in place so that distance education can operate successfully. And then you're going to complete your COE distance education application, pay a fee, and submit the application. Once the application is submitted, it will be reviewed by the commission and they will grant initial institutional approval. And then you will host a virtual visit. And after the virtual visit, the commission will grant final distance education approval. And then you can add additional programs. Your application is filled out in Edvira. You guys all know how to sign into Edvira by now, so just pull up your Edvira account, and when it opens, you're going to select Documents. And when you select the documents, you will see a screen similar to this, and you're going to click on the button on the right side that says Start Document. And when you click on that, a list of documents available to your institution will drop down. When it does, you're going to select the public, non-public, registered apprenticeship, institutional distance education delivery application. Has a cost of $1,050 associated with it. Let's talk about what all you have to do to get your distance ed approved. During the application, you're going to describe the methods to be used in your distance ed program. You're going to tell us your implementation date. You're going to tell us how the campus will handle placement services, follow-up services, your refund policy, your grievance policies, and is that DE program identical to the on-ground traditional program? The DE application requires you to include your URL address if it's delivered through the internet. Your URL address, ID, and password must be valid for 180 days. That is so that the staff can review it initially and then the reviewers can check it out later. You're going to describe your server setup. You explain to us how you handle student security and how the student's identity will be confirmed. How will registration for distance ed be handled for your students? And we expect your instructors to be able to communicate in a timely manner to your students. So you need to tell us how you can handle a 24-hour or a 1 business day response time for student communication. What process is in place so that you can assure that the student who registers for the class is the one that actually completes the course or program. After you have your initial approval from the commission, 2 reviewers will virtually visit and review your DE process, and they will complete review sheets. Once the review sheets are submitted to the commission will issue final distance education approval. The timeline, as I mentioned before, it's going to take about 90 days from the time you start filling out the paperwork. There are deadlines for submitting your distance education application, and they are set annually, and they usually fall 4 to 5 weeks before a commission meeting. And our commission meets in March, June, September, and December. The timeline, after your application is in and the commission approves it, 2 reviewers will virtually visit and review the application. They will complete the review sheet, and then the commission will grant final approval for your distance ed institutional process. Now, your programs, you're going to need to make sure you have programs for these new distance ed applications. So you're either going to have to submit a new program application if you're just starting distance ed with a new program, or you're going to have to present a change of existing program application if you're converting one of your existing programs to either hybrid or distance ed. And those need to be submitted simultaneously with the DE application. If you have any questions or concerns, do not hesitate to contact us, and have a wonderful day.